Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Ashabi, and today I'll teach you how to cut yokes. I'll be teaching you two types of yokes in this video, a mid-riff yoke and a normal yoke. So this tutorial is actually a very simple one, and if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. If you're not new, welcome back. So if you're actually going to do this tutorial, you're going to be needing your set square, your pencils, your ruler, your tracing wheel, your paper, scissors, eraser, and that's actually all I use for this video. So let's just get into the tutorial. So now the first thing I'll do is to trace out my front sloper. Sloper is actually the basic bodice patterns that is actually traced out on a chipboard. So I'm just going to trace out my front sloper and mark out all the edges, all the points, all the parts that are actually really necessary, like the shoulder dart, the waist dart, and the bust point. So I'm just going to trace out that pattern and imitate it back on the new pattern I'm going to be working with. So I'm just going to trace that one out. So after getting all my data and angles right, I'm just going to go in with my tape measure and measure 5 centimeters. I'm saying 5 centimeters because that's the standard measurement when you're trying to do a mid-riff yoke. So you're going to measure 5 centimeters from the straight grain on the pattern, because that's what I did in this video. I was actually creative. I didn't do a basic mid-riff yoke in this particular video. You can choose to do any type that you like depending on the design. This is just like a root or a basic or a base kind of tutorial for you, and a guide to help you through when you're trying to make your own design or trying to make your own pattern. So you could just do anything you want. So I'm just going to mark out that point, 5 centimeters. But 5 centimeters is actually the standard measurement for making a mid-riff yoke. So I'm just going to crease my paper from the side, from the straight grain, the center front area, and I'm going to crease it towards the side seam on this pattern. So it's going to give me that bulk, the one that comes out with the triangular shape at the edge of my pattern. That's the one that, but if I want it to go in, I'll actually fold it from the side seam to the center front. If you've seen my video on how to create that box, you're going to be able to understand this. I'm actually going to put it at the top right corner of this video, or I'll also add it to the description of this video. I'll add it to it. So I'm just going to use my French curve to just curve out the part from the 5 centimeters upwards. So like I said, this is not the basic one is actually just going to be me placing a ruler on that 5 centimeters and then just giving it out or squaring it out. Like I said, I'm just going to square it out. But this one, I decided to make it off the regular one and place a French curve on it. So I'm just going to cut that out. As you can see in this video, I'm just going to cut it out because this is the mid-riff yoke. So when you're going to stitch this, make sure you do not forget to add your seam allowance, because seam allowance is very, very important, and this should be cut on fold because it is a mid-riff yoke. So, or cut in two pieces, anyone depending on the kind of design it is. So I'm just going to cut this through. You're going to see that this is not actually going to look straight, but it's just going to give it like a little bit of sweetheart shape. Now you can see the way that bulk looks. It's going to give me like a triangular effect at the edge because I creased it from the center front area towards the side seam. But if I did it on the other way around, you would see the difference too. So I'm just going to go with a cute paper glue and then glue that part together because that has actually been eliminated. We're not going to add it to the mid-riff yoke. We're not going to add it to it, so it's irrelevant, and we're going to glue it together. You could actually use paper tape or any kind of tape to glue that together. You don't need to get a glue to do that. So I'm just going to have that. So I'm just done with the mid-riff yoke, and we're going to move to the basic yoke that comes around the neckline, and most people will see that. So I'm going to do the same thing I did around the waist area. I'm going to crease my shoulder darts towards the side seam or the armhole area, depending on what you like to call it. So I'm going to just crease it. You can see that it's actually aligned with the previous pattern, like the way I traced it. You can see that it aligned when I'm folding it that way. And then I'm just going to measure the chest depth. The chest depth is usually measured on the client, or you could actually, if you're making it ready to wear, you could just create your own kind of chest depth. This chest depth I used here was actually 10 centimeters. Sorry, I used 10 centimeters for this particular video. So you could use anything, and you could actually measure it on your clients, depending on what the client wants. So I went in with the same French curve, and then I'm just going to curve it out. Now this kind of design is good when you're making illusion necklines, the one where you get to use your skin net or net that the skin shows, or you could actually do any kind, depending on what your design actually says or what the you actually want to create with this pattern. So I'm just going to cut it out like I did for the mid-riff yoke, because we're obviously not going to cut it on the fabric together, so we have to cut it out separately. So I'm just going to cut that out and glue it like I did for the previous one. I'm just going to cut out the illusion part, the yoke part, depending on what you like to call it. I like to call it illusion sometimes, because most of the necklines they do with this kind of pattern is usually illusion. So, but it's actually a yoke. So I'm just going to cut it out and allow you to see it. I'm going to glue the top part like I did for the lower part, the midriff part, and because the dot there is not going to be there. Now for the dot, you could actually choose to convert it into gathers, you could convert it into princess seam, you could convert it to anything you like, you can convert it to tucks, you can convert it into pleats, anything you like. So I'm just going to label this pattern throughout. I'm going to label the mid-riff yoke, cut on fold, the side seam, the straight grain. Now labeling patterns like this are really important because of the pieces. The more the pieces, the more you need to label. And I advise my students to always label like everywhere possible, because sometimes you're not the one that's actually using the pattern and you need to hand it to someone. The pattern should be self-explanatory. In case you're not around, it will be able to tell the person, okay, this is what you're meant to cut here, this is how you're meant to cut it. And sometimes you actually forget what you actually cut on the pattern, and then you place it on the fabric and then you cut something else. It happens. So you need to label. That's the importance of labeling your pattern. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and don't forget to drop a comment in the comment section if you have any challenges. And if you love this video, don't forget to drop in the comment section if you have any other suggestions of kind of videos you want me to add to my list of videos that I'm going to film soon. Don't forget to drop it in the comment section too. I love you all.